Good afternoon, my dear colleagues and students. My name is Disupova Ainagul. I am a teacher of English at NIS Almaty School of Physics and Mathematics. But firstly, before starting presenting you my lesson, I would like to congratulate you on the Teacher's Day and wish you be happy with your work and family. So, I'm glad, I'd like to start by presenting my lesson topic, which is investigate and report on the animal world, what different kinds of bats exist, how do bats navigate, and why and how should we protect them. So here are my learning objectives from the course plan. So let me read it for you. The first is develop intercultural awareness through reading and discussion. The second is to ask and respond with appropriate syntax and vocabulary to open-ended higher-order thinking questions on a range of general and curricular topics, including some unfamiliar topics. Number 3 is to organize and present information clearly to others. Next is to deduce meaning from context in extended texts on a wide range of familiar, general, and curricular topics and a growing range of unfamiliar topics. Next is to understand specific information in unsupported extended talk on a wide range of general and curricular topics, including talk on a growing range of unfamiliar topics. And the last one is to evaluate and comment on the views of others in a growing variety of talk context on a wide range of general and curricular topics, including unfamiliar topics. So taking into consideration learning objectives, I've created my own lesson objectives, where all my students will be able to name and recognize animals from the video and classify them according to their geographical habitat. Next is to answer all my questions during the lesson. Next, to read the text for general information and understand the grammatical constructions of collocations from the given text. So most my students will be able to express and compare their opinion about bats. They will be able to confirm or refute the myth about bats, citing examples from life experience. And then most my students will be able to practice in the use of collocations by putting them correctly in the given sentences. And some of my students will be able to evaluate the situation by using the collocations in their own speech. And they will be able to be responsible for accomplishing PowerPoint presentation according to the criteria of success. While planning my lesson, I've integrated several subjects such as geography, biology, physics, and art. And I'd like to express the special thanks to my colleagues who were taking a great part in my lesson planning. So, on this slide you may see required objects for my lesson. They are the globe, because we are going to talk about the geographical position of different countries. Then we will need a textbook, objective advanced for 11th grade, and a toy rabbit, laptops, and some markers of different colors. So, and now I am going to start my lesson by showing a short video about different kinds of animals, which is going to be the hook of my lesson, and where I want my students to understand the general topic of the lesson. So let's watch it together. After watching this short video, I've prepared some questions for checking students' video understanding. Here is the list of these questions. So the first is, how many animals have you seen in this video? So students are supposed to give me the exact number of animals. The next question is, what are their names? And the last one, which of them can we see in our country? So then I suggest my students to travel around the world in order to look a variety of animals living in different continents. Of course, I start our travel from our country because I think that our students, they are more familiar with these animals and are sure to achieve their success in this activity. This will make them feel good about themselves and they will be keen on continuing the lesson. So, I demonstrate to my students the map of Kazakhstan. I ask them the questions about its geographical position, type of climate, and smoothly move to the question about the symbolic animal of our country. So, my question is, what animal is considered to be the symbol of Kazakhstan? My students are supposed to give me the answer that it is snow leopard. So, to investigate snow leopard, I prepared some questions about this animal. So, here you may see the list of questions. So let's start from the first one. What is the habitat of snow leopard? Is the snow leopard endangered animal and why? Are the snow leopards carnivores or herbivores? And which national park in Kazakhstan protects the snow leopard? I give my students some time to think of this question and then we'll discuss together. So here is the list of expected answers. So the answer for the first question. Their habitat extends through 12 countries: China, India, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Mongolia, Nepal, Pakistan, Russia, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan. The next question was if the snow leopard is endangered animal or no, and why. So the answer is, it is listed as endangered on the IUCN Red List of Threatened Species because as of 2003, the size of the global population was estimated at 4,080 to 6,590 adults, of which fewer than 2,500 individuals may reproduce in the wild. The next answer, snow leopards are carnivores. And the last one, the question was about national park in Kazakhstan that protects snow leopards. The answer should be Aksu-Jabaglı Nature Reserve. So next, our destination is going to be Australia. So here I ask my students the similar questions as geographical position of Australia, type of climate, and smoothly move to the question of symbolic animal for Australia by giving the list of general features of this animal. So here you may see this animal has large, powerful hind legs, a long muscular tail, and a smaller head. What is this animal? Of course, as you may see from the picture, the answer is supposed to be kangaroos. To investigate kangaroo, I've prepared some questions. So let's have a look. The first is, where did the word kangaroo come from? Are kangaroos herbivores or carnivores? Female kangaroos have a pouch. Why did they need it? What is the way of kangaroos' locomotion? And the last one, if a kangaroo suspects there is a danger in the area, what will it do? So here you may see predicted answers about kangaroos. So let's have a look at these answers. So a widely held belief has it that the word kangaroo comes from the Australian Aboriginal word meaning I don't know. Kangaroos are herbivores. Female kangaroos use their pouches to feed and protect the babies. They use their muscular tails and hind legs to jump when we talk about their locomotion. If kangaroos suspect there is a danger, they will either jump away to safety or they will fight using their paws. We continue our travel to the last continent that I'm going to mention. It's Africa. And here I want my students to explore Africa and the biggest mammal in the world on land, African elephant. Also here I prepared some questions about African elephant. But before talking about African elephants, I ask my students, of course, about Africa in general. So about its geographical position, about the type of climate, and then we'll talk about the biggest mammal in the world on land, about African elephants. So let's see the questions about African elephant. The first is, how do African elephants protect themselves from African heat? What do African elephants use their tusks for? Are African elephants endangered animals and why? And how long do the cows have their pregnancy period? So here not all my students know that the cows is in the meaning of female elephants. Let's have a look at the required responses. The African elephant can be identified by its ears. Stretched out, its ears are shaped like the African continent. Asian elephants have smaller ears, which are more rounded on top and flat along the bottom. Heat radiates out of the elephant's massive ears, acting as a cooling mechanism. Some technical issues. Next. So, and the next question. What do African elephants use their tusks for? The answer is So, tusks are formidable weapons against potential predators. So please don't change this slide because we have some technical issues. Okay. So, and the tusks are formidable weapons against potential predators like the tiger. Like tiger or a battle against other elephants. It's known that African elephants are endangered animals because of their tusks. And the last question was about pregnancy period of female elephants. Elephants have a pregnancy that approaches 2 years, 22 months exact. I'm sorry for the technical issues. So, and this is the longest gestation period for any land animal and one of the longest for any animal on Earth. And now to consolidate the information from the first part of the lesson, students will play the game which is called Jockeys and Horses. Actually, I filmed the video for you about this activity, but now because of some technical issues, it's impossible to show. That's why let me explain the rules of this activity. So students are equally divided into 2 groups. The group 1 for jockeys and the second group for horses. Teacher distributes handouts with the questions on it for the group of jockeys and handouts with the answers on it to the group of horses. So students' task is to each jockey has to find his or her horse by finding the answers to the questions. By the end of this activity, students will find the answers to the all given questions. For this task, students are given 5 minutes to complete. So, in this way, I consolidate learning to this point. On my reflection, the best part of this learning experience is that my students were actively engaged to the set task. After visiting different continents and investigating different kinds of animals, according to my lesson plan, I have students watch the video, which I recorded in collaboration with our international physics teacher, who has explained the physics of echolocation that bats use to navigate. So the purpose of this task is to introduce bats, which is the focus of my lesson. So let's watch the video. Okay, Mr. Sergey, tell me please, how do you think, what sound is it? Maybe it's a bird sound?
These are definitely bats.
Bats? Yeah, by the way, today we are going to investigate bats, it's night creatures. We are going to investigate several questions as how do they navigate, how do they hunt in the darkness. As I heard, they have high frequency system called echolocation. So, and Mr. Sergey, would you please explain us how does it work?
Basically, first a bat produces a high-pitched scream, which we call ultrasound because it's too high-pitched for us to hear. Then the sound waves propagate, travel forward, and reflect from different objects, such as cave walls or small flying insects. We call sound reflection echo. The bat has very big developed ears that it uses to hear the sound echoes and the direction where they're coming from, and that is how it knows how far away and in what direction a flying moth is. I can show you.
So you will explain us the physics, yeah? How does it work?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we can look at a different kind of wave here. There's a wave that travels forward and is reflected from a barrier, and you can see that as we increase the frequency, the reflection becomes stronger. And bats use a very high frequency because they need to be able to see things like flying insects more clearly. You can see that the reflection only goes in one direction here. Whereas for low frequency, as we were seeing before, the reflection goes in all directions.
Okay, so as I understood, only bats have this high frequency system. Am I right?
Not exactly.
Okay, so...
There's other animals that use echolocation, and that's dolphins and orcas, whales, and some cave birds also use it. Even people can learn how to use echolocation. For example, blind people use a clicking device that produces sounds, and these sounds bounce off walls so they can tell where a door is. Also, humans use echolocation for submarines and airplanes and ships.
Okay, as we understood, we can see echolocation, yeah, everywhere, and not only in animals world and in humans. Yeah? Okay, thank you for explanation. Okay, as you understood, the purpose of this video was to introduce the bats, which is the topic of my lesson, which is the focus of my lesson. And In order to improve students' awareness of bats, I suggest them to play the game which is called myth or fact, or true or false. So, the first myth, as you can see, bats are rodents. So I give my students some time to think of it, if it's true or false. So the fact is that bats are not rodents. They are in their own order of mammals called Chiroptera, which translated as hand wing. So the next myth is that bats attacked people, if it's true or false. The fact is, actually, they are afraid of humans, trying to avoid us when it is possible. The next myth is that bats suck blood, if it's true or false. Bats do not suck blood, however, vampire bats do exist and they do drink blood. Myth number 4, bats are blind, if it's true or false. Bats are not blind, all bats can see. They are thought to be blind because many species have smaller eyes and use echolocation to navigate. And the last myth, number 5, is that bats are worthless animals, if it's true or false. Bats are very helpful and useful animals. For example, they help to control insect population and reseed deforested land, etc. And now I give more evidence about bats' usefulness, and I suggest my students to read 4 texts. As you may see from this slide, the first, the second text, third, and fourth. So, students are given 4 texts to read and make up at least 3 questions. But firstly, I divided my students into 4 groups of 3 students. So they are given 2 minutes for each text. When time is up, they rotate their texts. So now I've filmed the video of this activity. Let's watch it.
So, students, you are going to have 4 texts, yeah? So for each text you read, so while reading you have to prepare at least 1 question, yeah? It means that from each group we are going to get how many? 3 questions, yeah? So for each text you have 2 minutes. After time is up, you rotate your texts, okay?
Okay.
Clear? Yeah,
Clear.
we start. Speak English.
So, after reading the text, students will play the game throwing a toy rabbit. In order to check the comprehension of the text, they just read from the text. So let's watch the video about the activity throwing the toy rabbit.
What is the role of bats? They can regulate the biodiversity by eating the seeds, and they are also called pest controllers because they can eat these insects. What is the difference between flowers pollinated by bats and the bees?
Flowers pollinated by bees are mostly colorful than flowers that are pollinated by bats. How many percent of bats in the UK are insectivores?
All of the bats which live in the UK are insectivores. And which type of bat have long tongues?
Bats which eat bananas and the indicators have long tongues. Question. What to impact on bats?
Can you show your rabbit?
Insects, maybe. What are the activities of tropical fruit bats?
Activities?
Yes.
What do they do?
Yes.
They eat fruits, and as a consequence, they spread their seeds and help to reforest the lands. And next question. Why?
The last question.
What do the bats reduce the need of pesticides?
Because they take the bad thing from the fruit and spread it around the ground.
Valuable thing about this activity is that students were able to read 4 passages in a limited period of time and used a play-based activity to transfer their knowledge about these night creatures. So the next learning experience is a vocabulary activity where students are asked to fill in the gaps in the given sentences. Then to check students' understanding of collocations, students decide on definitions they can use to describe the meaning of collocations. So for this activity, they are given 5 minutes. So the next stage is that I want my students to work with a textbook. For this, they read an article about an unusual woman, Jenny Little, whose life is closely connected to bats. To practice their speaking, I ask my students to compare their own attitude to bats with Jenny Little's belief. And of course, they have to justify their responses, drawing information from the collocations of the previous activity. So, after accomplishing speaking section, I ask my students to prepare and investigate and prepare a PowerPoint presentation on bats. It's going to be their home task. So, but before giving this home task, I explain them the steps of accomplishing. So, for the next lesson, my students will work in groups to conduct an investigation on the top of bats. They have to learn something new that they have never known before. All of them are going to be bat investigators. So, what is the purpose? The purpose of this task that learners will investigate and share information about bats. They will make a 6-8 slide PowerPoint presentation to produce a 7-8 minute presentation on the theme of bats. So my students are given 3 topics to investigate. The first is different types of bats. The second topic, bats navigation. And the third one, bats protection. So in order to break students into 3 groups, I allocate each student a number from 1 to 3. Those given number 1 investigate topic number 1, different types of bats. Those given number 2 investigate topic number 2, bats navigation. And those given number 3 investigate topic number 3, bats protection. So how do they do their research work? They have to follow these 10 steps. The first is search for information. The second, identify, select, adapt, and summarize information in their own words, and of course, do not copy-paste. The third step, to discuss how to make the information interesting to audience, persuasive, and attractive. Number 4 is to draft, proofread, and edit their presentation. Number 5, to share their responsibilities among group members. Number 6, to introduce key vocabulary of their topic to their classmates before presentation. Number 7, to rehearse their presentation, check for timing, voice, pronunciation, and capturing the class attention. Step number 8, to give the final presentation of 7-8 minutes long, not shorter. Number 9, involve your classmates in a discussion of their topic. Ask their classmates at least 3 questions on the content of their topic. And the last step is to reflect on any feedback they receive about the content and the language of their presentation. So what's next? It should be 6-8 PowerPoint presentation slides, which will include topic or issue introduction slide, which includes names, grade, school, information slide. It's going to be 7 slides. Do not use yellow because it's hard to follow, to read. And summary slides will consist of 2 slides, reflection slide only 1, and bibliography slides 1 slide, which will include all sources that they used. Other things to consider for style, they have to think of background, color, animation, insert video clip, background sound, for example, music. Then titles should be bold and large. And after accomplishing their PowerPoint presentation, they have to assess each other. So each group is going to assess other groups. So they have to follow the criteria of success. Here you may see the list of criteria that they have to follow. The information is related to the topic, the information is summarized in their own words, they were able to capture the audience attention, edited for mistakes, etc. And to accommodate my students who learn best through tactile activities, I have filmed the video with our teacher who demonstrates the way of making origami bats. So using this video, my students are supposed to create their own origami bats and then write their feedbacks about the whole lesson. So let's watch the video.
We're going to learn how to make a bat origami. So this is bat. What is bat in Russian or in Kazakh? Okay. It's difficult to, but I'm gonna teach you how to make one like this. Okay? All right? And then of course, to start, you always need to start with square. Okay? All right? Now, so everyone has a square? Yes. Okay? And then of course, we have what we call a, well, I just call this diagonal fold. I'm not gonna be technical in giving you instruction. Well, of course, you know figures. This is called, I call this in mathematics, diagonal fold. Okay? All right? Okay? And then we are going to make a center fold for the triangle. Just unfold it back. Unfold. Okay? All right? Unfold. And then we make this, again, triangle fold, like this. So make the triangle fold like this. Okay? So make the triangle fold. Yeah. Also do the same thing on the other side. Okay? Everyone is fantastic. Fantastic, everyone. Now I want you to turn around. Alright? And make this fold like this. Make again a diagonal fold on the back. Yes. So make a diagonal fold on the back. So you see here? Make a diagonal fold on the back. And then make that fold. Okay? Fold. Like this. Okay? We're going to make this fold like this. Okay? So make the fold. Okay? 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 Yeah. Oh, very good. Okay, so you have your butt now. Okay? All right. Very good. You see your back? Having problem? Okay. Very good. Very good. Yes, very good.
Okay. And my time is up. That's why I would like to express my special thanks to my co-teacher, international co-teacher, Mr. S. Croning, to our English department, and of course to our IT staff. Dear colleagues, if you have any questions or comments, you may write, you may ask them. Okay. Thank you.